For more on this, let's cross live to Moscow. Our correspondent Giles Gibson is there. A very good day to you, Giles. Thanks for availing yourself. Well, quite a chilling statement then from Foreign Affairs Minister Sergei Lavrov, which prompted him to talk about the World War III and nuclear. What exactly made him go that far in his speech? And of course, we saw that also caused some sort of a walkout. We saw some leaders of the UN, of the European Union, in fact, walking out during that speech. And really, how has that been received in Russia?
Well, we're really getting mixed messages from top Russian officials and from the Kremlin because, as you say, some very aggressive rhetoric coming from the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. You have the Russian President Vladimir Putin just in the last few days slamming Western countries for putting sanctions on Russia, describing the West as an empire of lies. But at the same time, Russian officials are also telling us that they are open to talks, to diplomacy with the Ukrainians. Sergei Lavrov has said that Russia is ready to speak to the Ukrainians for a second round of talks on Wednesday. We've been hearing from Russian state media that those talks could take place on the border between Poland and Belarus after a first round of talks wrapped up on Monday without any particular breakthroughs, except for the fact that they agreed to meet again. The Ukrainians are saying through their president, Volodymyr Zelensky, that if there are going to be any sort of meaningful talks, any sort of meaningful diplomacy here between the Ukrainians and the Russians, then they are insisting that they need to stop bombing Ukrainian cities. The Kremlin here in Moscow, the Ministry of Defense, throughout this have been saying that they are only targeting military infrastructure, military targets. But clearly, we saw that video footage of that TV tower in central Kiev being targeted over the course of Tuesday. So clearly, there are not just military targets being hit in major cities in Ukraine.
I mean, we're talking about the sanctions that are now being imposed on the Russian elite, if I can put it that way. Are they shaken? I mean, what's the reaction? You're currently there in the midst of it, and you're getting to see firsthand how people are really responding to everything that's happening. Are these sanctions making people nervous?
Well, in terms of the elite, in terms of the oligarchs, as the wealthiest Russians are known, those very powerful oligarchs, there are some who are stepping out of line, so to speak, and calling on Vladimir Putin to end this invasion, this war in Ukraine. In terms of ordinary Russians, what we've seen over the last few days here in Moscow, as well as St. Petersburg and other cities around the country, is that ordinary Russians are getting nervous about these sanctions that are being piled onto the Russian economy almost on a daily basis from countries such as the US and the UK, as well as the European Union. We've seen ordinary Russians queuing up at banks and ATMs in the last few days, waiting perhaps several hours to get to the front of the queue and to try and get hold of some cash. So that is always really a sign that people are just not feeling confident about the state of their economy and are getting concerned about the days ahead.
All right, Giles, thanks very much for keeping an eye out, an ear out for us here in South Africa while you're in Moscow. Thanks very much for that, sir. That is Giles Gibson, our correspondent in Moscow.